This right here, my friends, is the world's first wireless ribbon driver headphone for the masses, and I'm really happy to be able to review this. It's called the Sineaptic SE-1 and it possesses driver or speaker technology first seen on the wired RAL SR1, and the SR1 costs north of 3,000 bucks. You wanna guess how much these are? How about under $200? Yeah, now that I've gotten your attention, it's time to share whether the SE-1 is truly dope or nope, or somewhere in between. But before we go on, I'm starting to feel a little bit peckish. I haven't had breakfast yet. Oh, hey neighbor, I couldn't help overhear that you're hungry for something. Hey, hi, it's my neighbor, Ken Pickleberry, ladies and gentlemen. He just moved into the neighborhood. So Aaron, I've been wanting to try out my new air fryer that my wife got me, and apparently this thing can cook like pizzas and dehydrate and self-clean and all of that. And I was gonna make some crispy chicken wings. I was wondering if you want me to bring you some after I'm done? Heck yeah, man. And what's your new fryer called? This thing is called the Typhur Dome. It's like a mini convection oven for your countertop. And it's really easy to get things done in this. You just have to prep your, in this case, the chicken with the seasonings that I want, and then you lay them out in the tray. You set the temps and the time, press start. You can use the app even. And then you just wait. I can guarantee you this thing will be done by the end of your video. The Sineaptic SE-1 retails for $200. It comes in only one colorway and it's a ribbon driver headphone with a built-in amp. Bluetooth 5.2 on board with AAC and SBC, no high-res support, but it does have multi-point Bluetooth connection. Battery life on this thing, 11.6 hours during my time with it on average. That's low for a headphone, but not at all for this kind of technology because ribbon drivers in essence and their built-in amps draw a lot of power and need a lot of power to run. And don't forget, this is also Bluetooth wireless, so adding all that together is actually not bad. One thing I want to add is even if you're using this wireless, you are using up battery because the nature of this technology is the amps, the ribbons, and the magnets require a lot of power to run. 412 grams for this thing is not bad at all considering the bulk of it, but it is mostly plastic, unfortunately. Single mic for phone calls, which is nice to have. We'll figure out the sound quality or voice quality later on in the episode. It's right down here, the volume up, volume down. That doubles also as track forward, backward. 3.5 output port. The USB-C port right there, and there's the power button. And all these are on the left ear cup. Apparently this was designed by a lefty, so there's nothing on the right side at all. I really like the design on the outside. This grill right here is actually pretty darn nice. The articulation is also not bad at all. There's no like vertical axis twisting, but there is like this right here. You can rest it like this and it kind of looks like a burger press, doesn't it? And then the really unique thing too is the headband right here. You see it's a suspension kind of padding and it sits right here on your head. You can hear a lot of plastic creaking because this thing is mostly plastic. Oh my goodness, even the headband, you would think usually these are metal, but it is not right here. The ear pads, let me try to pop it off. It is a little bit of a work to get off, but they do pop off with a little bit of a click. I'm really afraid of cracking this. But when you pop it off, you can see the ribbon driver setup. It looks almost like a planar mag, doesn't it? One of the most unique things about the SE-1 is the packaging itself. The box that it comes in is the largest I've ever experienced. And the reason being, it's kind of like selling the whole ribbon driver idea is, check this out. The case itself is suspended in the box. That's the downside if you're having this at a store or a box store or whatever. It just takes up so much shelf space. What they mean is right here is they want to show you that they're really protecting your gear because inherently ribbon drivers are very fragile. So they want to make sure that, doing transit or transport, these things are staying safe and comes to you in one piece. Winter temps are finally here, my friends. It's hovering around 19-20 degrees before wind chill. The water down there is all frozen. Not sure if you can see it. Thank you for joining me today, guys. I have Space Oddity 2015 remaster by David Bowie playing as a FLAC file through these, even though these don't support high-res. There's the phone at the end of my deck on the gigantic box this thing comes in. Anyways, we're here to see when these things break up signal as we walk further and further away. So right here is around 25 feet, and there's the phone at the end of my deck. Still kicking it strong. These have, I tested these earlier, and these have really strong connection. I can walk all the way up pretty much to the end of my driveway, about 65-70 feet. Just barely a one single drop out around then. Yeah, these are strong, guys. Yeah, around here it's around 60 feet, 65 feet. So one thing's for sure, don't forget, I have a house between this thing and the phone, so that's pretty impressive, guys. You can see also the fit of this. Yeah, don't wear these outdoors if you don't want to be ridiculed by society. And I can guarantee you, yeah, it's not meant for running, obviously. This is extreme, but the weight shift is pretty darn crazy. Very comfortable when you're stationary, but once you start moving, even when you're dancing around, these just want to slide off really easily. Well, since this SE-1 has a mic on board, we're gonna test the phone call quality on it anyway, because that's my obligation here to you guys. We have to test every aspect of it. It is muffled. Here comes a car coming down the road. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. What do you think of it? Yeah, it is like it's covered by foam or something. It's also a pity that it's one mic. They could have gone with two, but you know, cost cutting and such, and at least they offer you something indoors. I think it's okay, serviceable, but outdoors. And also because of the open air nature of these headphones, you will hear everything that's coming in, like cars and traffic and whatnot, planes. So not recommended for outdoors unless you like it that way. I personally like it because it's safety related, because I can hear everything that's going on around me even while I'm talking to the other person on the line. Here comes a nice big truck. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. What do you think? Comment down below whether you thumbs up it or thumbs down it. Anyways, back to the studio. Starting with the most important bit, sound quality. And TLDR, the SE-1 isn't going to blow like your $4,000 headphone out of water just yet, but there might be one area where it actually rivals them, which is detail retrieval. Now, double ribbon drivers are similar to other flat drivers like electrostatics and planar mags in that they generally excel in detail and fast attack, which means the driver can quickly and accurately keep up with frequency changes. But man, I'll tell you what, guys, these have amazing sound reproduction, like quite possibly one of the best I've ever heard. Sub bass is merely above average on these, despite a rise between 30 to 40 hertz. And in fact, in a song like Parallax, the sustained bass drop on that song causes a slight buzzing of what I think is the suspension material for either the ribbon or the magnets in the lower right side of the ear cup. So thankfully, the SE-1 doesn't go lower than it already does. And at least that rise in the 30 to 40 hertz region helps to give low frequencies in your tracks a really nice, solid foundation to work with. But I would say bass is not heavy-handed. It's smooth and assertive where it counts, like say in Massive Attack's Angel. Now, handoffs from the high bass to the rather flat low mids cause certain notes like the timbre of rim shots to lose energy, and then in the process sounds thinner than I would like in a flat driver. Another example I can think of is, say, Spanish singer Natalia Lafourcade has this unique lilt in her voice at this frequency range that usually acts like a thread connecting her phrases together that she uses a lot, but this effect is broken in the SE-1. And you can also see on this graph that the Sineaptic takes a massive dump in the upper mid-range. The fast and peaky treble sort of takes your attention away from that, but to my ears, in certain genres like rock, busy tracks can become somewhat hollow sounding. Easily, the SE-1's ribbon strength lies in treble. That sounds like fantastic with vocals, jazz, EDM, trip-hop, pop, R&B, but not for watching movies or TV shows in case you're wondering. And I have to say that the highs are also quite up there, and it's usually something I'll complain like how quickly that gets tiresome and grating. But here, it's more bearable than say on regular peaky dynamic driver headphones. And this is truly a testament of how smooth and mostly composed these cans are. I have to add that some of you may not like the comparatively low max volume on these, but personally, you know, it's not like I'll be using these in a noisy environment anyway, so there's not much worry there. I also don't know, because these only have AAC and SBC, I don't know how much adding high-res codec support would transform the sound, since I don't have another ribbon headphone as a reference point.
Wireless mode connected.
Hold up, I haven't mentioned wired listening yet. So plug this thing in and there's a marked difference in clarity, for the better. And by the way, even through 3.5mm connection, the amp and battery are always running in the background to power the ribbons and magnets, just so you know. But anyways, yes, listening wired. It takes some of the edge off the sharpness that I was talking about earlier, while also raising the max volume a little bit more as well. Strictly from the viewpoint of a ribbon driver headphone and how well sorted the innards and dynamics are, $200 guys is a downright steal. Which at the same time, unfortunately, leads me to the Fisher-Price build and ergonomics that only a mother could love. The buttons are weirdly spaced out, and also the few reviews that I've seen on this device so far comment that the build quality and the plastics are average. Have you guys been living under a rock or something? No, this here is average, the Sonoflow. Look how decent and solidly made this thing is, and then you compare it with the SE-1. This thing creaks more than a third-rate pirate ship with hollower plastics than a crackerjack toy, for crying out loud. I even tried to perform the usual flex test that I normally do this one time, and I heard a crack like coming from the bars right here where it meets this little piece or little housing right here, which is a first for me on this channel. And sure, the construction, the reason behind it is to keep the weight down since the ribbon drivers and internal amps and the batteries all do add up, right? But personally though, I wouldn't have mind paying like an extra $100, $150 for some nice aluminum and titanium bits. You know, I've been scratching my head trying to figure out why Sineaptic tried to reinvent the wheel with the headband. I mean, I'll concede that it's super comfortable in the head. It acts like a suspension and everything. It just sits right on top. But because it has very little compressive force, the headphone slides right off your head the moment you even think about reclining or, leaning past vertical. Plus, those who like to be able to wear their cans around their necks, well, look at this. You probably have to look elsewhere. This thing really gets in the way. And then we come to the looks. Yeah, what the F? Did the designers not workshop this? Like, was the mold taken from a Goonies movie set? Because the headband seems to be shaped specifically for sloth. So regardless of whether you're bothered by the looks or not, whenever you have these on, you'll have to understand, guys, that there's an extremely high chance that children will begin teasing you, your parents will question your life choices, your spouse will pull you aside and want to talk about divorce. But then again, on the bright side, if you ever go to Comic-Con, for example, you wouldn't need to buy a costume. You slap the SE-1 on and it's an instant Doctor Who Cyberman costume. It's quite uncanny, isn't it? I'll tell you what, the technical achievement made by the Sineaptic team is pretty darn impressive. And don't forget, this is their very first product ever, so it's bound to have some hiccups. From an SQ perspective though, man, the amount of detail this thing is able to pull in, it just blows my mind every single time. But that being said, what I'd like to see in, say, the SE2 is perhaps a little bit more personality, because the SE1 is technically fantastic, but it's almost clinical to a fault for a ribbon device. So it'll be cool if Sineaptic injects more warmth and or width to take the edge off some of the sharp energy that I was talking about earlier. Unless, of course, the SE-1 is the house sound that the company was going for in the first place. In that case, forget what I just said. Still, the headband needs to go, and so do the cheap plastics and the terrible control button layout. With the SE-1, you basically come for the sound and the price. That's it. You look further and you'll be quickly disappointed. Hey neighbor, just in time, man. This thing is all done. Check it out. Oh, look at that steam. Oh, that looks good. Here you go, man. Here you go. Here you go. Oh, thanks, man. Oh my goodness. That actually looks pretty good. All right. Oh. The skin is actually pretty crispy. Oh wow, that's actually pretty impressive. This is like the first time. I usually don't like air fryer texture, but this is pretty darn amazing. Oh my goodness, guys. This is so good. Usually like air fryers that I've tested in the past, they're like tasteless, driest pieces of crap. But this thing is juicy, the skin is still crunchy and crispy. Oh my goodness. Guys, and this is just salt and pepper, right? And a little bit of oil, I think. So, wow. Yeah, check out the link down below. This is the Typhur Dome. If you're interested, links are down below. Thank you again for watching, guys. And remember to do something loving and kind for, I think I have something in my teeth. Loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all very much. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Peace out. Whoosh.